So we have a problem, and I'm noticing this a lot now. We have a lot of people that they have faith in faith, and I'm going to explain what I mean in a moment. We have people that they say they're a person of faith. I think in the Greek the word faith is pistis, whatever, however you pronounce it. In the comments, if I'm wrong, let me know. But we have faith in the sense that faith for many of us, especially those of us who are trying to be upwardly mobile, who are trying to go higher, maybe in our career or in the Lord, and at the same time, we're trying to better our lives, better ourselves. We have faith in faith. In other words, we have faith in using our prayers, our thoughts, our desires, our positive thinking, all of that stuff, almost as if it is a magic amulet to command the universe to do things that it's already not doing. And so in there is a place for positive thinking. There's a place for believing God. There's a place for praying to God and asking God, hey, the Bible tells us you have not because you ask not. And, we believe that he can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think. If we put that scripture into proper context as well. But we have all of the scriptures that tell us all of these things, and yes, God, we believe that God can bless, God can heal, deliver, set free, all of that stuff. We believe that, and we know that those things are true. But a lot of times we are in our quest to level up, we use faith as we have faith in faith, and we don't use faith as a tool. There's a difference. So a lot of times we use faith almost as if like we use the Bible like it's a spell book. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. We use the scriptures as though, if I repeat these things and just say them often enough, then XYZ will happen. And there are cases where yes, that does happen, but more often than not the case. So what we actually need to be doing is use faith as a tool. So I have faith, and I'm going to use it as a tool for wholeness, to better my life, to start businesses, to upgrade my career, all of those types of things. What's the difference? The Bible, we must read it not merely as a theological, a text of theological truths and a text of prayers that we can pray to get the things that we want. You don't just merely use it like that. That is one part of it, but we must also use faith as a tool. So we must use the scriptures, which is part of our faith, as a tool to teach us concepts. And when we learn these concepts, we apply these concepts into our life. And when I apply those concepts to my life, then I am using faith as a tool and not as a magical amulet. So, for example, there's a scripture where it says, where Paul says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Obviously, he wrote that from, if I'm not mistaken, he wrote it from prison. Right above that, he said, I know how to be abased, I know how to be abound. So within that context, yes, Paul is telling us, I know how to endure persecution, I know how to endure hard times. I can do all things through Christ, because Christ is strengthening me, right? So within that particular instance, yes, that is the case. But what we do, especially us American Christians, American Christian professionals, will take that one verse and say, hey, and we look at ourselves in the mirror in the morning, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And, and then you walk into that marketing meeting, or you walk into that budget meeting and do your presentation. And so that's kind of what we do a lot of times with the scriptures. But there's another layer to that we want to use, is that we want to take the concept and apply it to our life. So the overarching concept that Paul is trying to give us is that whatever happens, I know how to flow and be in that state. He said, whatever state I'm in that same script passage, whatever state I'm in, wherein I know how to be content. So this is the concept he was teaching us. He wasn't teaching us a positive affirmation, but rather he was teaching us a state of being. And so if I am constantly in a state of contentment, if I'm constantly in a state of gratefulness, I'm using faith. Yeah, I might not have the car that I want. Yeah, I might not have the exact job that I want at this exact moment. And yeah, I'm praying to God, I need something different. I need a different car. I need a different job. I need a different house, whatever the case may be. Yeah, but the state that I am in right now, I know how to be content. So I'm using faith as a tool for contentment, rather than using faith as a tool just to get the situation and circumstances that I want. So a lot of times as I was saying earlier, a lot of times we have faith in faith. Well, I prayed, and so now God and the universe has to act together in order for, and trust me, there are miracles that happen, and there are signs and wonders that happen. I've had them in my own life where I was like, wow, I prayed for that, and that actually happened. But Paul here gives us a different concept that we must also layer into and factor into our faith, and that is whatsoever state I am in, where I'm content in that state. So I can be content when I'm down, I can be content when I'm up, because the outside circumstances don't matter. And so the reason I'm talking about this is because this is such a life hack and such a life key for living a life of gratefulness, living a life of wholeness, living a life of vitality, that I'm going to extract the good out of whatever circumstance I'm in, and I'm going to extract the contentment out of any circumstance that I am in. I think that this was the superpower of, I don't know why this week I've been talking about superpowers a lot, but I think this is what the superpower was of the saints. Is that whatever circumstances they were, whether they were being persecuted, whether they were put in jail, whether they were poor and they gave all of their money away to the poor, and they went and served God in the desert, whatever the case may be, whatever circumstances they were in, they were able to somehow figure out a way to extract contentment out of it. Okay, this is the circumstance I'm in, that God has me in right now. I'm going to find a way to get some contentment out of this. So when we use faith as a tool, we can extract contentment out of our jobs, out of our situations, out of our families, our spouses. We can, you can find something. You know what? This might not be the job that I want, but hey, it's paying most of my bills right now. Even if it's not paying all the bills, it's paying most of my bills right now. This is God, thank you for this. And this is a much healthier way of living, a much healthier way of thinking, a much healthier way of, even as you quest and seek and pray and continue to look for other things, or you continue to look for another house, or a better car, whatever. But I'm thankful for what I have right now. Science has shown that when we live a life of gratefulness, that there's those people who practice gratefulness in their life, there's health benefits to that. You live longer, you have more vitality, you have lower rates of like dementia and things like that. So this is a practice. These are tools that we have to put into place to practice. So faith is not just God, give me, and then God's like, all right, you won't leave me alone. Boom, there you go. All right, and that may happen, but faith is also a practice. It's also a way of being. It's also a state that you're in, regardless of what chaos is going on around you. I'm in this state in my inner self. I'm in this state in my conscious mind. I'm in this state in my nous, or my heart, the center of my reasoning, the seat of my emotions. I am in this state. I am always in a state of contentment, and it takes work. It's not easy. Sometimes, sorry about that. Sometimes we want to lash out. Sometimes sometimes, you're going to have those moments where you want to sit and cry and like, man, I really wish I could have been this. I really wish this would have happened and that would happen. But our default place that we return to can't be despair, can't be ungratefulness. It has to be a state of contentment. And that chapter in that scripture, that was not even one that I planned to talk about, but I think that one was probably a better one than the one what I originally had. But we must constantly live in a state of contentment. Sometimes, you're gonna have to kind of leave it sometimes and cry, get your complaints out, and then you come back to a state of contentment. Whatsoever state I'm in, therein I am content, is what Paul was saying. This is the life hack that the saints have taught us, that it's not always, you're this powerful Christian wizard that, every time I pray stuff happens. Ephraim, it's not like you don't have power. No, my power is my contentment. My power is the tool that I have, my faith. And it's not even a contentment of, if I pretend that I'm grateful to be in this state, or that if I pretend that I'm content being in this state, then God will say, we're content, so let me get $1 million. It's not even that. It has to be real, genuine contentment, while at the same time you're working towards whatever your goals are. It has to be real. It has to be genuine. You have to be able to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm thankful that I get a chance to go to work. I'm thankful that I get a chance to go, and I struggle with this a lot. So I have to, this is why I'm talking about it. So I have to, even my own self, practice this and put it into effect and put it into motion, and keep interrupting my mind and say, wait, no, you can't be like that. You have to be content where you are, while at the same time you are striving for where you're going. And what's interesting is that you can be content where you are. Even it kind of helps you to be content where you are when you know where you're going. When you know, okay, I've taken this step, I've done this, I've implemented this, I'm learning this, I'm trying this, I invested in that, right? It helps you with your gratefulness, and it helps you with your contentment in many ways. It's interesting how that works. But when I know that I'm taking a course, or when I'm trying to start up a new business, when I'm trying to do a side hustle, when I'm trying to do something, that helps my contentment with where I am. It's like, okay, where I am allowed me to be able to take that next step towards what my goal is, or towards what my dream was. So it's kind of a weird thing, but if you can do that, this will be a very amazing life hack for you in having wholeness and vitality, and extracting contentment and meaning out of your life. All right, I gotta go. See you in the next video.